You guys know me. I generally support the third party movement, but I feel like this current election, every third party candidate but Chase Oliver is just in it to help Donald Trump win. And I'll tell you why. Because Cornel West, quite literally, is taking Republican money. Jill Stein and Butch Ware, who I went back and forth with on Instagram, still could not answer a simple question that I had. Why haven't him and Jill mentioned Project 2025 once? All their posts are about Democrats. All their posts are about Democrats. They are the Jimmy Dore of presidential campaigns. Their entire platform is Democrats. And this would be acceptable if Jill Stein didn't just vanish after every election. Quite literally, after every election, she just dips. The Green Party just dips. They don't try to make any efforts to run anybody in anything. They don't try to build any kind of an infrastructure or nothing of that nature. Jill Stein is a plant. I'm sorry. And I like the Green Party. I vote for the Green Party. 99% of the time, I vote Green Party. But the reality of life is that Jill Stein is a plant. Jill Stein is just here so that Donald Trump wins. Because Jill Stein, really, if she genuinely believed that what was happening in Gaza is so terrible, if she really thinks that, wouldn't you want the person who at least pretends to acknowledge the suffering in Gaza instead of Donald Trump who says to finish the fucking job? Like, you would think that for all of Kamala Harris's flaws, she said she wants a two-state solution. Now, is that good enough? No, you have to get Israel to fucking behave. But wouldn't you want the person who says, I want a two-state solution rather than the person who says to finish the fucking job? Like, I don't I it's really not that difficult to understand. One person wants every Gazan dead. The other one wants like 80% of them dead. And I get it. It's not a good choice, but it's the choices that we have. Because I'm sorry to say this is going to sound selfish, but there's 330 million Americans who would be impacted by Donald Trump winning. So we kind of in a way have to think about ourselves here for the first time ever. I know, radical, right? We have to think about ourselves and our future and our kids' future. Here's the whole point. There's not going to be a future if Donald Trump wins. There's not going to be a future. We're not going to have anything. There's going to be nothing. Nothing will be left. We're not going to be a country. We're just going to be a monarchy. The Trumps are going to rule forever, okay? Like, really, seriously, think of that. Think of that. Before you cast your vote on November 5th, if you are uncommitted, I respect and support your movement. Don't get me wrong, but you're being selfish because you're not thinking about your fellow Americans. And I'm not saying that the Gazan people do not matter. They 100% do. I feel for their suffering. It is horrible what they are going through, and none of them deserve it. Israel deserves to be tried for their crimes, not the Israeli people, the Israeli government and their soldiers. That being said, we have to think about ourselves too. If Donald Trump wins and you just say that as a fuck you to the, Democrats, you have to think about what happens here. You have to think about what happens. What happens? Project 25 gets enacted, and then none of us have rights. None of us do. You you want to live with that? Are you? Can you live with that? Can you? Can you? If you get raped, you won't be able to have an abortion. If your father sexually assaults you, and you get pregnant, you won't be able to have an abortion. If you get pregnant, the government will be able to monitor you, and if you have a miscarriage, that will be counted as an abortion, and you'll fucking go to jail. If you work your ass off, you won't get overtime pay. Is it worth it for a protest vote? Genuinely think to yourself, is that worth it? Considering what Trump has said about Gaza. Use your head. Use your head. Use your head. Jill Stein is a fraud. Jill Stein is a plant. Jill Stein she no longer has my vote. Jill Stein should go rot in hell because she wants to ruin this entire country.